Hello everyone, welcome to Techwiden. Today we are going to explore what are the various options or various types of computing in AWS. Every cloud platform provides different types of plans and features for their virtual machine. In AWS, we have 7 types of EC2, which we can opt for computing for our software and application. So first one is on-demand instances, and these are the flexible and convenient way to run our short workload or with predictable pricing. With on-demand instances, we pay for the compute capacity we use, and it will charge according to per second basis for the Linux and Windows instances after the first minute, and on the basis of per hour for the other operating system. There are no upfront cost or a long-term commitment required, while in on-demand instances, having the highest cost compared to other purchasing options. They are actually ideal for the short-term workload that required uninterrupted computer resources without a need for the long-term planning or a commitment. So this is the kind of a pay-as-you-go model, and which allow us to scale our resources up or down as needed, and making it suitable for various use cases at fluctuating demand. Next is our reserved instances, which is designed for long workload, and it offers significant cost saving with reserved instances. We have the option to reserve specific attributes such as instance type, region, tenancy, and the operating system as well. And we can choose a reservation term of either for 1 year or 3 year, and of course with the higher discount available for the longer commitment. It offers a potential saving up to 72%, and there are different payments option available, including like no upfront, partial upfront, and all upfront, which allow us to choosing the payment structure that suits our needs. And AWS also provide a regional and zonal reserve capacity within an availability zone, and ensuring the availability and capacity for our reserved instances. And there is a buy and sell option available in the AWS marketplace also. Next is saving plan, which provide a cost-effective option for the long workload and flexible instances requirement. We can commit to a certain user level either for 1 year or 3 year, and in return we receive a significant discount up to 72% on the long-term commitment. It also allows us to optimize cost for our predictable workload. However, it is important to know that if our users exceed the committed amount, any additional user will be billed at the regular on-demand price. Next is spot instance. So it's a kind of a cost-effective option for short workload with a flexible time requirement, and we can bid on unused EC2 instances and potentially receive a discount up to 90% compared to an on-demand price. However, a spot instance can be interrupted and terminated at any time if the current spot price exceed our maximum bid. So this makes them not suitable for a critical workload or database. So nevertheless, spot instances are ideal for non-critical jobs such as data analysis, batch processing, or any type of image processing. So by opting the spot instances, we can achieve a significant cost saving and maximize the efficiency of our compute resources. There is another EC2 option, which is dedicated host, which actually offer a fully dedicated server environment with EC2 instances capacity, and it providing a cost-effective solution for the short workload and required dedicated resources. So with that kind of host, we have the flexibility to use our existing server licenses. AWS also offer two pricing options. So first one is a reserved, and second one is dedicated. So reserved host provide a cost-effective with the payment option such as no upfront, partial upfront, and all upfront, which allow us to choose the most suitable payment structure. And the dedicated hosts are built on per second basis for the active dedicated host. For the active dedicated host, making it a flexible and efficient choice for the resource allocation. And it is important to know that dedicated hosts are typically more expensive compared to other purchasing options, so that they are particularly useful for the workload that have complicated licensing models and ensuring compliance and optimized usage of licensed software in the dedicated environment. So there is another term which is dedicated instances. So dedicated instances is a bit different from the dedicated host, and dedicated instance provide a level of isolation and hardware dedication to our EC2 instances. The hardware which is underlying our instances is fully dedicated to us, and ensuring that no other client share the same physical hardware. So this provides enhanced security and isolation for our workloads. However, while the hardware is dedicated to our account, it may still be shared among instances within the same account. It means that other instances within our AWS account may utilize the same physical hardware, but they will belong to other account. Unlike with the dedicated host, we do not have direct control over the specific placement of our instances. And on the physical hardware, it offers a good balance between the dedicated resources and the flexibility of the managing our instances within the AWS environment. And finally, there is a capacity reservation as well, which allows us to reserve the EC2 capacity in a specific availability zone for any duration without the time commitment. We always have the guaranteed access to the EC2. So capacity reservation can be combined with reserved instances and saving plan to further optimize cost and saving. It charges at the on-demand rate, whether we run instances on demand or not. It makes capacity reservation suitable for short-term workload that require interrupted resources and do not have a fixed or predictable schedule by opting the capacity reservation. So let's go to our AWS console and find out where are these options, and let me create one of them. So this is my EC2 dashboard, and you can see under the instances we can have instances type, that is sport instance, saving plan, reserved instances, dedicated host as well, and capacity reservation. Let me request a sport instance. So first of all, let us see what are the blueprints in sport. So click on the sport blueprint. There is an option of batch, EMR, EC2 auto scaling group, and EKS. So these are the specific blueprints template according to the services. For example, EKS cluster with Kubernetes worker node. And we will discuss it in a detail in our later videos. Let me go back to the sport request. There are other options like saving, summary, pricing history, sport placement score. So let me click on the pricing history. In the pricing history, we have a graph according to the availability zone and instance type. Then we have different kinds of instances, type A, 1 medium, large, and C series as well. So there are a lot of instances type we can choose. And let me choose a large one, that is C59X large. And these are the prices of that particular instance according to region. And these are the hourly cost of instance. And let us go to the platform. So we have a Linux, Unix, Mac, and Windows. Let us choose the window and see the price. So on an average, $2.13 per region, and we can save up to 33.11% in compared to on-demand instances. And also check the pricing structure according to region in the graph. So let me cancel it and go back to the sport request. Click on the request sport instance this time. Now we have two options, manually configure a launch parameter or just use a launch template. So let me click on manually configure. Amazon Linux 2 AMI is good to go. So I have a new key pair already. Now click on the additional launch parameter. And there are some options for monitoring and security groups. So we can choose if we want for more granular instances. And this time let me close it. So click on apply default for the additional request details and go to the target capacity. So in the target capacity, we have to mention how many number of instances required. So let me put 1 and maintain target capacity. Default behavior is terminate. So click on capacity rebalance. So it is a kind of a notification sent to our sport instance, and our sport fleet will automatically replace the instances before it is interrupted, and put the behavior of launch only so that it will not terminate the instance by default. So we will learn in our upcoming videos what are the fleet manager and how can we use the fleet manager to manage our instances. So this time let me click on the launch only. Now leave the network in the default mode and move to the instance type requirement. Now we have two options. We can choose according to the attributes or we can select manually. So let me select instance attribute, and here are the options like the configuration of the instances, how many cores we require in our CPU, and what are the minimum and maximum storage memory per instances. So let us choose no minimum and no maximum in virtual CPU and the same in the storage memory. Leave the option of additional instances attributes. In the allocation strategies, let us choose price capacity optimize, which is recommended, and we can see there is 279 instances already there and in 3 availability zone. And we can also see the estimate our price and our percentage of saving compared to on demand, which is 73%. So all is good, and let us click on launch. So my request has been submitted and it will take 2 to 3 minutes. Let me cancel it and refresh once. Now we have our instance is C5 large and a fleet also there, and both are active. So let's go back to our EC2 console and click on launch instance. Let me name the demo sport instance this time and choose Amazon Linux, which is default. In key pair, we have a key pair, but let me proceed without the key pair. Leave all the security and networking in a default state and click on advanced detail. So in advanced detail, the first option is a request sport instance. And when we select request sport instance, it will automatically create the instance according to the configuration, which we already mentioned in our sport instance. We can also customize it if we want. Leave everything and click on launch instance. Click on view all instances and here we can see our instance, which is C5 large and has been initialized. And demo sport instance, which is T2 macro, is also initialized. So this is a way to create the sport instance. Let's go to the sport request once again. And right now we have a 2 active instance, which is the original instance, and the other one is a fleet. The fleet of the instance is created because we have a activate while creating the sport instance. We can also customize it, and finally we have no use of sport request. Then let us delete it. So just select the instance, go to the action and cancel the request for the sport instances. So this is the process of termination the instances. Similarly, we can create the instances of saving plan and reserved instances, dedicated host and capacity reservation. All the options are same, but we have to choose according to our requirement. So that's it from this video, and in our next tutorial we will explore some more topics, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Thank you.